Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Hi Loey, my name is Loey, and today, as promised, is part 2 of my 100 scariest TikToks of 2023 video. I said a bit of this in part 1 as well, but thank you very much for spending your year with me, whether it was for a couple of minutes or for every single video. I'm so appreciative of you and your time, and you mean the world to me. I love you very, very much. And I'm so excited to share the scariest TikToks of the year with you. Before we get started, a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, BetterHelp. I've actually been seeing a therapist through BetterHelp for the last 2 years outside of this sponsorship, so when they approached me and asked to sponsor a video, I was really excited because therapy has really changed my outlook on my life, on who I am as a person. BetterHelp matches you to an online therapist who is trained to listen and give unbiased advice. Starting therapy definitely can seem daunting. The right provider might not be in your area, or you might not feel comfortable meeting face-to-face with somebody to talk about what you're experiencing. And through BetterHelp, you can get therapy all from the comfort of your own home. You can have your therapy sessions through a phone call, video chat, or even messaging if that's what's most comfortable for you. BetterHelp can connect you to the over 30,000 therapists within their network. And to get started, all you have to do is fill out a questionnaire that helps to assess your specific needs and goals when it comes to therapy. And in most cases, you're matched with a therapist within 48 hours. From there, you're able to schedule therapy at a time that's convenient for you. And if your therapist through BetterHelp doesn't feel like the right fit, no worries. They will find you a new therapist at no cost to you, without you having to worry about whether or not that person is in network for your insurance, etc. Over 4 million people have used BetterHelp to start living a healthier and happier life, one of them being yours truly. If you think you might benefit from therapy and are interested in giving BetterHelp a try, go to betterhelp.com/LoeyLane or click the link in my description box down below to give BetterHelp a try. Using my link not only supports the channel, thank you very much for that, but also gets you 10% off of your first month at BetterHelp. Once again, that's betterhelp.com/LoeyLane to give BetterHelp a try today for 10% off of your first month. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Sit back, relax, and enjoy part 2 of our 100 scariest TikToks of the year. And the first TikTok that we're taking a look at is from metaphysicalshow, who shares an incredibly eerie paranormal story with us.
I'm at a horse stable right now, as you can see. And the other day I was walking over here to see a guy working the land. He works in the horse stable. Anytime I see a guy working the land, I always get curious, ask them questions. I'll ask, have you ever seen anything interesting out here? And oftentimes they'll say like, oh yeah, I've seen some coyotes. And so finally, as the conversation was warming up, I say, hey, have you ever seen anything out here you can't explain? The moment I said that, his eyes lit up. He was like, it's really weird you asked me that question. He's like, just last week, my buddy took the craziest video back in these woods. He pulls up his buddy's private Facebook page. So it's a private Facebook page. He tried to send me a link to the video. I couldn't see the video on my own phone. So I had to pull the video up on his phone and take a video of it.
Before the person walks by, you see this dog on like super high alert. Then we see the figure. To me, that looks like a ghost. Like what else could it possibly be? Like what is semi-paranormal and walking through the woods? This is not a math question. It's just a question of what reality are we on where that's not a ghost. The person who filmed that video, by the way, the person who originally saw that happen, yeah, they won't even come back to the stable, let alone go into the woods.
Now, what's super weird about that video is the guy who took the video won't even go back into those woods anymore. Did you see the dog in the video? That dog was growling and it was looking over into the area where the apparition appears. And it was just, what a crazy video. I can't believe it, and I haven't been able to figure out what's going on. What do you guys think?
So I think it's safe to say that whatever this is, and you know that I personally think it's paranormal, but I'm always happy to hear what you think. Whatever it is, it was freaky enough to make a grown man flee from the scene. The next few TikToks that we have come from Jay, or Sinistear. Now, these are a fascinating series of videos on a doll that Jay keeps in like a glass box. At first, we don't know anything about the doll. The first video that I saw was just a viral clip of Jay basically saying he had seen it moving.
I think I can see it on here. Hold on. Now it's stopped. Oh, wait, there it is. See if she moves. There it is.
So the poster, Jay, has been hearing the doll basically start to play music on and off. And it's one of those dolls that like you wind it up and then it's supposed to kind of like tilt and bend with the music. So the only way to get it to play music is by winding it up. However, as we learn in following videos, this doll is not ever touched or tampered with.
I got her about 2 years ago at a thrift store. There were 3 of them, and for whatever reason, she was very far away from the other ones. And for some reason, I just really wanted this one. She's very cool. I really love the jester style. It's cool. I don't know if she's ever been opened, but I've never opened the box. It's taped closed. And yeah, I just left her there. It's kind of cool.
So Jay explains that there were 3 of this exact same doll at the thrift store. However, he felt really drawn to this one, and it was also coincidentally kind of placed far away from its equals. And Jay says here that while he felt really drawn to her, he felt like he wanted to bring her home, she's never been out of that box. So why is she playing music? With a newfound, absolutely captivated audience who is just so interested in the seemingly haunted doll story, Jay makes another video.
I'm going to do one more video on the doll. After this, I'm going to, everyone wants it recorded overnight, so I'm going to record it overnight, and then I will upload it if anything happens. If not, there won't be another video. I am going to open it, and I'll do it on here so you all can see. Other than that, yeah, this will be this video, and then one more, and then I'm done on the doll stuff. Sorry, it's not my main interest. Everyone just seems to want it.
And curiosity really must have gotten to him because he chose to open the box that the doll resided within.
There. Stare into it. Stare. Okay, y'all can see. It's out of the box. It's got a little stand, still wrapped feet. That's what it looks like on the back. Keys right here. It is all the way pushed. If I push it, it'll keep going, because that's how they work.
So he unboxes her. The entire comment section is going nuts. Like, why have you taken her out of the box? This is exactly what you don't do in the horror movie. Everyone's asking questions. Everyone wants to know, is this thing acting up? Are you having crazy activity? Like, what is going on, Jay? I want to emphasize here, by the way, I have not said this yet. Jay is like a Magic the Gathering creator. This is not Jay's content. Jay is not talking about dolls. Jay does not like own dolls or talk about hauntings or anything like that. So I'm sure he's caught off guard by the amount of attention this is getting. Despite that, he actually takes the time to set up a camera and he films this doll throughout the night into a following day to see if, like, now that she's been unboxed, if anything is going to happen. To briefly summarize the findings, Jay did say that, like, at one point the camera cut off, and I think that was just due to like a mandatory filming cutoff time. And when he came to restart it, he noticed in the footage that the doll had moved slightly, and he thinks this could be his wife, his son, the cat. He's not necessarily chalking that up to something paranormal. His camera also, interestingly, fell in the middle of the night, as it was supposed to be recording this doll. Now, and again here, he kind of takes the stance of a realist and says, you know, like, this could have been anything. It wasn't that stable. Maybe it just fell over. But really, Jay said he didn't want to make any more videos on the doll at this point. Haunted content isn't exactly in his repertoire, and while he thought this was all really interesting and entertaining, he doesn't really want to keep going with it. Whether it is in hopes of not messing with this or he just doesn't believe in it, we don't really know. But we do get to see at the end of this video, the doll do her little song and dance. And I don't know if it's just me, but after seeing that and envisioning it, doing it inside of the box that it was residing in the middle of the night, that little song and dance, it makes you just a bit more creeped out. From another TikTok user called Dingbatcass, we have a couple of quite viral videos, but this first one is one that I was tagged in so many times. Cass is unboxing a doll in this video. It's one of those really lifelike ones that have become quite popular with collectors and stuff like that over the years. No doll judgment, I collect dolls too, but this doll in particular is something special. When Cass opens up the box, she swears that this doll looks at her, and that's what everyone on TikTok was saying as well.
Oh my God, I swear to God, this thing just looked at me. Oh my God, I swear to God, this thing just looked at me. Oh my.
In a follow-up TikTok, Cass shows this baby again, and apparently it has a very unsettling name.
You guys, I just noticed something crazy as and you're all gonna think this is so insane, but I just took out the certificate of authenticity for her, and you're not gonna freaking believe the name on this thing. Are you me?
So Annabelle the monkey doll has gained quite the viral reputation on TikTok after this point. Cass explains that this doll was actually just an Amazon buy, but everyone in the comment section is like, your doll looks nothing like the ones on the website. And Cass regularly makes jokes about how it's like this doll is struggling so hard to just be a doll, like any minute it's just gonna spring to life. But in the last video from her account that I wanted to show, weird things have been happening around the doll, namely her neighbor's porch light turning on and off by itself after just being freshly changed when Annabelle is facing it. That's really all the updates I have for you on this, and I low-key kind of love this little doll. Maybe I need it, honestly. I'm a doll collector. Don't know if I've ever told you that before, but I collect like American Girl dolls, like the old ones from the 80s before it was bought by like Mattel and stuff. I also collect old Barbies. I collect a lot of like weird stuff, Beanie Babies, you name it. So maybe I need a monkey doll, but honestly what I don't need is another haunted doll, so I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see this one. Next up, the account heartstartspounding has quickly become once again one of my favorite horror accounts on TikTok. She always has the spookiest, most interesting stories you've never really heard anywhere else in her videos. So of course, she talked about something I had to share with you. In this video, she talks about a photo that had been posted to Reddit. This guy basically posted it saying he kept hearing weird noises in his kitchen, so he took a photo, and when Redditors brightened it, they saw something.
Now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. So the other day, a Reddit user posted this photo to Reddit. It's of his apartment at night. He had been complaining of hearing rustling noises in his apartment over the last couple nights. Many users thought they could kind of see something in this area of his kitchen, but I couldn't, so I looked at the brightened version. This is the photo brightened. And I know what you're gonna say, yes, it does look like Keanu Reeves, but look at how tall he is compared to the fridge. But it gets so much worse. This is a video he took of his apartment at night where you can see something happen to the light in the kitchen. But let's look at the brightened version. Yes, it's terrifying. But is it a ghost?
So it turns out something was lingering in that photo. And then in the video that was posted later, whatever that was seems as though it has the exact same face. It's clear enough that it could be a real person, but he's so tall, and something about his facial features just seem a little off. It could just be that the videos are really low quality and grainy and dark, and this is totally someone pulling over a hoax. But at the end of the day, I just don't think it can be explained away in my head. Next up, I want to talk about 2 TikToks from one of my favorite content creators, Morg, who shares life in a very spooky part of Appalachia that they live in with their partner. So as Morg is exploring this creepy like farmhouse that has been stumbled upon, specifically to show the viewers these like weird dolls that were abandoned behind, she catches something on camera.
I'm going to show you guys these dolls really quick. How about fell? Oh my god, okay. Look at these. And they were just in that closet. I have no memory of these at all. Look at this one. What is hers? They're all just in there. I don't know. Oh my god, there's too many sounds happening in here. I gotta go.
At the beginning of the clip, if you look in the very background over Morg, you can see what looks like the back of a man's head. This has been a reoccurring horrifying thing that she has experienced over and over again, specifically with seeing the back of her husband's head. There is like something that disguises herself as her husband and is only ever standing with its back to her. That's the only time she'll ever see it, and it's usually when her back is also to him. The weirdest thing about this is that she posted a clip of her husband filming outside, and you can literally see in the window as she's walking through the house to film the video that I just showed you. Whatever this thing is that she's experiencing, it's mimicking her husband and kind of only making itself known when she walks away, which is petrifying. The next video is from hannahlewan, who basically says that she and her friends went shopping and had a glitch in the matrix when they got back to their hotel room.
Guys, we finally believe in like a
They're
glitch
all
in the
also
system
so stinking
because
cute.
What the hell is going on? Let me explain the story of what's just happened. So basically, we're on holiday. I'm with my 2 friends and we're in Dublin. And we went shopping today, and Becca bought something from Zara, just a dress, and she put a receipt in the bag. And we haven't been to the hotel room at this point. We're just walking around. Anyway, we get to the hotel, we check in, and we come up to the room, and we're like unpacking our stuff, and Becca throws the Zara bag on the floor. She takes the clothes out the bag and she throws the Zara bag on the floor. Okay? And me being the clean freak that I am, picked up the Zara bag that's in the middle of the floor to tidy up, and looks inside and is like, Becca, you must have lost a nail. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because your nail's in the bottom of the bag. And this is... one sec.
The nail?
This is said nail, okay?
Okay.
Normal looking nail from the finger. Fallen off. Obviously, it's fallen off nail Becca's hands. Anyway, I go to Becca, you've lost a nail. Like, did you not realise? And she checks her fingers and she goes, like, she's like that checking. No, she's like, I haven't lost a nail, Hannah. And I'm like, why the hell is there a nail in the bag then? Like, you must have. And then we look at Becca's hands and she's like, I've got all 10
got all
nails
the nails.
on. And then we say, well, why is there an 11th nail? She didn't come to Dublin with 11 nails. She came with 10.
Yeah.
And now we have 11 nails.
None of these have the same nails. Like, none of them have acrylic.
I have these nails. Kira has these
is
nails.
weird.
So why the hell do we have 11 nails? What the hell is going on? Like, is that not a glitch in the Matrix? She's got 10 nails, and now there is 11. Like, and it's literally the exact same length and nail, so it can't even be the nail from the lady in the shop.
I think that's so interesting because I've seen other like videos, you know, of people saying they've lost a nail or they'll find a nail, but a nail never fell off. And a lot of the times they're actually quite easy to catch, because I saw this one girl who posted one and it was like she claimed that she had just found a nail and she had just gotten them done, but you could see every single finger was like grown out on the nail except the one she had gotten replaced. So she had like very clearly like that nail had fallen off. And also press-on nails are a thing, which press-on nails come off if you breathe on them too hard. So keep that in mind. But I feel like these girls have such a genuine reaction to this and all seem like so like What in the world was that? I guess in a very logical world, it could just be the employee's nail. Maybe she had a very similar set, but isn't that weird? Next is a TikTok from Wit2Times, who had like a weird TikTok thing around a work engagement that she had, and that's all I know.
I cannot make sense, still, what happened this morning. With that said, I've never had anything happen to me that would be considered like a glitch in the Matrix.
Well, this had to be jarring.
But this morning...
Oh boy, oh boy,
okay, so I'm out of town, staying at a hotel, so I'm here for a work mission. But our meetings start at 10 a.m.
Okay.
It's 7:10 this morning. My alarm goes off. I'm like, I need a couple more minutes. I put my phone down. I roll back over. All of a sudden, I can feel my phone in my hand. Like, almost as if it was placed in my hand. You know? Like, the fuck?
That's creepy.
So I roll over. My phone is, in fact, in my hand. I know. I did... I click the side of my phone. It says 11:30.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So fast. So fast. And I look like one of those cartoon characters that are, like, getting pinged. Like, bing, bing. Because I have no idea what to do with myself. Immediately, give the manager a call. And he's like, hi, buddy, good morning. And I'm like, good morning. I don't know. Why the tone? I don't know. Purely in panic. Clearly. He goes, hey, you good? And I was like, well, it's 11:30, and I'm not there. He goes, what do you know? You're early as usual. Because I always arrive early. This is 7:30 in the morning. I tell this man hasn't even left his house. He's having breakfast with his family. And then he proceeds to tell me, like, the time, the day of the week. And I'm like, like, I'm looking at my phone, my guy. It says 11:30. What? There's another person here for the same function, so I run to the window, and I look, and I see their car, and I'm like, well, there's no way they're late, too. Anyway, I hang up, I sit down, and I'm, like, trying to collect my thoughts. Like, what? Mind you, while we're on the phone, I take a screenshot. Because I'm like, I'm looking at 11:30. Take a screenshot.
Okay.
After I sit down, I can't log back into my phone. It will not let me. So I turn it off. When I go to squeeze my phone to turn it back on, it falls on the floor face down. I lean down near my phone, pick it back up, and it's on. Like, not turning on, whatever. It's on. And it says 7:30.
That is weird.
I log into my phone, immediately go to my pictures, no screenshot.
Oh, that's weirder. Because I was...
Like, is this a traumatic event? Absolutely not. Does it not make any sense? Absolutely. And
yeah.
I don't accept this. What happened?
That is weird. That is weird because
Does it mean anything?
I was gonna say maybe like her phone wasn't quite like, maybe it was on a different time zone because she said she was traveling for work, so maybe she was in a different time zone still on her phone. But if that happened, why would it have gone off at 7? Because if she set the alarm for 7 and then it was only actually 7:30, like, that's weird. It would have been the right time zone for that. And then I was thinking, well, maybe it just like freaked out for a second, but like, where was the screenshot? And clearly this is like a person who, like, being that late was like a very big deal to her. And it's something that like stuck with her even. Leandro grew up in Colombia, and he says that during his childhood, he had an experience where he was kidnapped by what he referred to as a duende or an elf. Now, I wasn't super familiar with them before this video. They're from Latin American folklore, of course, and the Wikipedia page for them says that they can be kind of correlated to like gnomes or dwarves, or at least how I feel like we see those in other parts of the world. Specifically, duende, though, lure children into the forest, which is where this story takes place. Leandro was spending some time at his uncle/family friend's house in the forest when some of the other kids staying there asked if he wanted to play hide and seek.
And it was me and a bunch of other kids. Mind you, I was one of the youngest ones. So we were playing this game called Escondite, which is like hide and seek. Yeah, it's hide and seek. And they told us multiple times to not go so deep into the woods because nobody was paying attention to us and everybody was just busy cooking. So they didn't want us to get lost. Now, we were also sharing the house with people who I have never seen before, but they were my parents and also like my uncles and aunties' friends. So like people who maybe I didn't hang out with, but my family did. And they brought their kids. When we were playing hide and seek, we went to the woods because we just didn't want to get found, I guess. And I separated from 2 other kids and it went deeper and deeper. Why? I don't know. I was a stubborn kid. I wanted to win the game, okay? So when I went into the woods, I thought that I was going with someone else. Like I thought someone was behind me, like another kid was behind me. So like, oh yeah, like he's behind me, whatever. And then a new kid appeared. But I was like, At the moment I thought it was the same kid, but I was like, you look different. Like, did you do something to your hair? And he goes like, no. We kept walking, we got deep into the woods, and we just decided to stop because he was like way too into the woods, like 15-20 minutes away from the house. And then we decided to sit right by the river. And I'm not gonna lie, like my memory was a little foggy, but I just remember that we were just like seated by the river talking, and he taught me a lot of bad words. I remember that. And I don't know, we just like kept dancing and just talking, but like I never saw like the day I never saw that it got darker. Like I never saw the stars or the moon or nothing. Like I always just saw the sun. Like the whole time I thought it was like the afternoon.
Now I knew the setup for this story. I knew the story was coming, but hearing Leandro say that he never saw like a day-night cycle, my heart dropped into my stomach. So I was like, oh no, this kid with him is the duende. Like the kidnapping is not coming. It has already happened and it gets so much worse.
Then after a while, I was like, it's been a couple of hours. Like maybe I should go and check because I feel like they got tired of us and they didn't look for us. And I said, listen, I gotta go and check because like it's been a couple of hours. I'm hungry. And he got so mad and his face like totally turned. It was a child face and then it turned like an old man face. It was insane. I was like, holy. And then I saw his feet and his feet were like facing the other way. Like looking that way. Like as if my fingers were pointing that way. And he was standing right here. I was like, holy. I was a kid. I didn't know how to react. And I said, I'm gonna go. And I ran so fucking fast. When I got back to the place, I realized that it was a little bit chillier. It was like, it's in the morning, like it's weird. And it was also a little bit foggy. So I was like, that's weird. And then I knocked at the door and nobody was outside of the house because like we cooked outside and everything. I was like, where's everybody? Like, where's the music? Where's everybody? And then I knocked at the door and my family is waiting for me and they were crying. They were like, oh my God, you're here. You're finally here. I was like, I left for like 3 hours. What happened? And they go, you left on Friday. It's Monday. 3 days. And I thought I was out for like maybe 3 hours. Mind you, I never saw that it got darker. I never saw the stars. I never saw the moon. Nothing. Like, it was always sunny, right? And I was like, that makes no sense. The police was called. Everybody was involved. Like, everybody went into the woods and they never found me. Like, they said that they screamed my name so many times. And I swear I never heard anything.
Leandro's parents had been looking for him for days. He had been missing for days, an entire weekend. Thank God he was okay. And he said at the end of this video that this duende or whatever that thing was, like, hunted him down in the city when they eventually moved and kept visiting his home in the city, somehow followed him out there. But that apparently that's a different story for a different time. Thank you. I don't think I could handle more terror right now. That entire weekend in the forest though, his family was screaming his name, calling for him. Law enforcement was involved. They searched everywhere and they could not find him. And he never heard them calling for him either. This one is from Jose F. Haas 3, who works as an EMT. In his story, he says, when you come back to find another patient has decided to hook themselves up to the monitor, and when he flips the camera around, we see that the heart rate monitor inside of his ambulance is going off as though it's detecting someone's heartbeat. There are so many different kinds of this story as well, from EMTs to military personnel. This one is from mandatoryfunday, who said, waking up in the field and seeing a dude in digital camo asking me if I'm ready for the invasion. He's missing an arm. Then under the video, the caption reads, no sleep for 72 hours will make you hallucinate. Yeah, hallucinate. I've heard many a story about a haunted military base, and it does not surprise me. There were a lot of haunted military base stories in this trend as well. Another one comes from Jason, or That Druid Guy V2, who says, when you're on duty and a Marine in full kit asks if you've seen his rifle. His vest is from early Iraq and torn to shreds. His ribs are visible. Nurses also got in on the storytelling. This video is from bitjohn_WDE, who said, me seeing my patient sitting in the recliner in their room, even though they passed. And we took the body to the morgue 2 hours ago. Now, my favorite story that came out of this trend is from a video that comes from blaireheart on TikTok, who said, working overnights in a mortuary, when a woman approaches the front desk asking if we have her husband. The scariest part of this was the text underneath that read that she was missing the top of her head and her jaw was severed. So this woman is working the front desk at a mortuary one night and sees a woman walk in who very, very clearly should not be standing upright, asking about her husband. Now, some of you may just think this is a disturbing story, something somebody said in order to be creepy, but it's real. And Blair followed up with the full story.
So, number one, I was a mortuary assistant, and yeah, I worked the front desk sometimes. So just a little bit about it. It was probably 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I was sitting at the front desk. We had just got back from a decedent call, which a decedent call is basically where you go and pick up, somebody who's, we had just gotten back from a decedent call, hanging out at the front desk, and our doors made a little doo-doo sound whenever they opened. So, I'm sitting there and I hear doo-doo, and my back is facing the front counter because I was, what was I doing? I was doing something with the copier, and I turn back around and I see what looks like a lady missing up here, and this part of her jaw just kind of hanging off. Very clearly spoken, hello, do you have my husband? And I was frozen, to say the least. Here's a little reenactment. Hello, do you have my husband? And by the time that I blinked, she was gone. So I did a little bit of digging. I spoke with my ex-coworker. She was deceased. She was one of the decedents that we had currently there, in what we called the fridge. You can call it whatever you want. It's kind of morbid. And none of us are really sure how she died, other than we know it was something traumatic. We do remember that it was something pretty traumatic. That's how she passed away.
While Blair says that she's unsure of what exactly it was that she experienced that night, she knows that she saw something. That woman that she saw was one of the deceased that they had in their mortuary that night. To make this worse, by the way, because I could not stop looking into this after that, I was so creeped out. Someone asked in the questions, well, was her husband there? And the answer was no. Her husband was not deceased, but he did come to the mortuary to plan his wife's funeral. And that just gave me chills. Again, Blair is unsure of what she saw that night. Could it have been sleep deprivation? Probably. But I can't shake the feeling that this could be paranormal. And if it is, there is nothing that has ever freaked me out more. Next up is a video from The Void 402, who posted the following footage of a priest at a church trying to film videos about upcoming services and just happenings at the church and whatever. And as this priest is trying to film this, there's something going on in the background.
Well, hey everybody, Pastor Aaron here. It's my pleasure just to announce that this Sunday will be open. Okay, we've been trying to do this announcement several times today already, and 3 times that podium back there has fallen over on its own. It's kind of like that podium has been wobbling. Okay, so we checked the vent. There's a vent there that is not an air duct that has any forced air at all, so it can't be wobbling from that. There's absolutely no breeze in here. You can see by the banner there. There's no air conditioning. It's these things. They're off. Let's see if it does it again. Ooh, that thing's moving. That hasn't been moving. That's new.
Whatever this thing is causing all this commotion in the church, maybe it just doesn't want its Sunday ruined by noisy and excitable churchgoers. But that doesn't mean it should be given this priest that hard of a time. A woman named Julie_Lunar went to TikTok to explain her terrifying experience with something at the Grand Canyon. I've personally never been to the Grand Canyon, but after hearing this story, I will certainly never stay after dark.
So we were at the Grand Canyon and we decided to stay there to stargaze because the stars are amazing there. There's no light pollution. So we were sitting by the rim. We were sitting there in the dark and we couldn't see anything. And my boyfriend just had this awful feeling that something bad was going to happen. And that's not like him at all. He never feels like that. Even at night, he's not scared of the dark. He just had this awful feeling and we needed to go back to the car like right then. We started walking back down the trail. It was about a 20-minute walk back to the car in pitch black through a bunch of trees. Out of nowhere, we heard a whistle behind us from the trees and there was nobody behind us. We pointed our flashlight at the trees because we thought maybe a person was hiding in there. Nobody was there. We decided to pick up our pace a little bit to get back to the car faster. So we eventually found the parking lot where our car was, and we were walking towards our car, and out of nowhere we heard this awful panting noise, and it sounded like it was right in front of us. We were pointing the flashlight everywhere. There was nothing there. We couldn't see anything, and the noise, it just sounded like it was like running at us. We then like ran towards the visitor center. So after we collected ourselves at the visitor center, we just had to go back to the car because there was nobody around. Nobody was there to help us. So we just had to run towards the car. That's all we could do. And we went back to the car. The noise was gone. There was nothing. And we are convinced that there was like something demonic or something there. I don't know. I'm really scared.
This story is so deeply unnerving to me. What would have been whistling behind them? Whistling with such clarity that they noticed it as a whistle, then subsequently panting really loudly behind them. What I think is interesting is that a lot of people have been talking about the whistler on TikTok. And we're gonna come back to this TikTok in a moment, but let's discuss what the whistler actually is. And I'm not gonna explain this to you. I'm going to allow the Twilight Emporium to do so.
It's said that a giant, horrifying, evil spirit known as El Silbón, the Whistler, walks the plains of South America, carrying the bones of his victims in a sack on his back. According to one version of the legend, El Silbón was a young man who caught his father abusing his beautiful young wife, and so out of anger, he killed his father. In retaliation for the death of his son, the boy's grandfather tied him to a pole and whipped him and tortured him and set dogs on him who chased him into the forest where he was cursed to carry the bones of his father on his back for all time. It's said that El Silbón is now a giant corpse-like monster who whistles a tune before he attacks. If the whistle sounds close, he's actually far away. But if it sounds far away, you're already dead.
Seriously, should I just like get that guy to like narrate all my videos, or do you guys want me to stick around like sometimes? Because seriously, it's a nice voice. I may or may not have fallen asleep to that TikTok a few nights ago. The reason I found this so interesting is what if, hypothetically, what Julie experienced in her video, remember Julie from the Grand Canyon, what if she experienced El Saban? And because noises that this entity makes are like kind of confusing, it's like the further it sounds, the closer it is, whereas the closer it sounds, the further away it is. Because these panting sounds and the whistling sounds sounded like they were right over their shoulder, what it probably meant was that this thing was trying to catch up with them and was unsuccessful in doing so. Thank God. This is from Motowens. It's unbelievable, and you just have to watch it for yourself. I have been thinking about this clip for days. Since the minute that I saw it, I have not been able to get this video out of my mind.
Just wait till the end. I don't like
this at all. Oh God, there's even more bones than last time. Looks like we've already passed it a while ago, but that tree is gone. I'm probably gonna turn around soon.
This is such a satisfying video until it gets scary. Like, I loved watching the footage on the dirt bike.
Holy crap, dude, this trail goes on forever.
It's silent.
It just got really quiet really fast.
Oh my God, not the kickstart. Not the kickstart, stop. Oh, that was impressive, that was impressive. Get out, go.
That was my cue to leave.
Yeah.
What was this?
Oh, I very unfortunately think you know what it is. And I don't think you should have looked that closely. I love seeing clips like this, but I always do just worry about these people afterwards, because how do you go on after seeing a clip like that? Like I said, I've been thinking about that clip ever since I saw it. I have no idea what the context is. I have no idea what like tree he was talking about, or if he does this regularly and sees creepy things, but like that genuinely scared me so badly. I do not know when I will go into the forest next. Not that I'm swimming in woods in Los Angeles, but you know what I mean? Like, that one got to me pretty bad. I thought I would also show this one from AmandaAapleassse, and it's captioned "Shapeshifter at Work." This is a long clip. We've had a lot of long clips in this video, but I have a feeling the payoff will be worth it. I don't know what this is about at all. I'm going in just as blind as you.
So we have a shapeshifter at work, and we're all kind of freaked out, and I don't know what to do about it. Let me tell you how I know it's a shapeshifter.
Please do.
So a couple days ago, I was taking out the trash with my coworker, and I was standing next to her by the door. So she was on my right side by the door, and our shoulders were touching, and we're looking out to see if the bins are full.
Okay.
And we work like right next to a Goodwill, so there was a bunch of nice furniture out by our dumpsters, and we were like, let's go check it out. But next thing I know, she opens the door and walks back into the building, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I follow her in, and I go and close all the doors. So through the outside it's locked and nobody can get in. And so once I get to the second door, I started to think, I was like, wow, normally she like waits for me in this part of the room. Maybe she's gonna scare me. So I go to the second door and I peek in, and then nobody's there. And then all of a sudden I hear on the walkie, Amanda, why did you lock me out? And I'm like, what? And so I go back outside and I see my coworker like far along where this ramp is. She's like towards the middle of the ramp. And I'm looking at her like, how did you get over there? And she's like, Amanda, I've been here the entire time. I was wondering why you just left me here. And I'm like, what do you mean? You were just right here next to me and you walked right into the building, so I just followed you. And she's like, Amanda, that wasn't me. And I'm like,
that's so scary.
And so I'm like trying to think of what the heck just happened. I was like, did I follow a ghost? Was there a glitch in the Matrix? Did I like shift realities for a second? Like, I was completely confused. And then not too long after that, my coworker one of my other coworkers was in the back,
like, I don't know.
And he was all by himself, and he heard a woman say hello, and when he turned around and said yes, there was nobody there, and he was like all freaked out, and he told me about it because I told him what happened when we were back there. And then I come in today
another one.
and talk to my other coworker, and she's like, dude, that spirit or whatever is still here because
great.
It was pretending to be a coworker she opened with. She was like, I saw him standing outside of the front door staring at all the cars. And then next thing, like, I know, like a second later, I like turn and I see him coming up from the back, like, hallway. And she looked back at what she thought he was standing at, and he disappeared, and he was coming up. Like, the real him was coming up, and she's like, were you just outside? And he's like, no, I was in the back. So this thing is a freaking shapeshifter. I know it. Like, this is not just a normal ghost. And I don't know what to do. It keeps pretending to be us. So now I'm just waiting until I actually fully become face to face with this thing. Because I was next to it. I saw the back of it, and it looked like my coworker. But I haven't seen this thing face to face, and I don't want to think about that at all. Like, what do I do?
I don't want to think about that at all.
The thing is, it knows I'm onto it, so this is gonna be interesting.
I had a piece of hair in my lip gloss that entire time if you saw me doing weird things with my mouth. But I've heard of shape-shifting stories, and I think it's so weird that, like, routinely, whatever that is, if it's a mimic, if it's like a shapeshifter, if it's like whatever, you only see the back of its head. I don't think you're meant to see the face because you would know something is wrong. And I think it's so eerie that no one ever sees a face. I don't even want to know what it would look like. It would appear that episode 3 begins where we last left off, with our main character still staring up at the setting sun. Then she moves her hair away from the back of her head, revealing a second face.
Oh, hi! You're here early. Sometimes it's good to be early. But our show starts at a specific time. You should remember that. Let's get started then, shall we?
Also, I keep calling her our main character. We don't find out her name until like episode 5, but it's Dottie. I'm gonna start calling her that though, so it's not as confusing since we talk about her and primarily her for the entire video. Dottie turns around to address us, and while she has her ever-permanent smile on her face, something seems a little off. She's a little stern here, reprimanding us for turning up so early. Finally, we get our intro, and something I want to point out is that with every single episode here, one word kind of changes from this like colorful font into that red creepy font that you see. And like I said, one word will change into that per episode. So it's just getting creepier and creepier as time goes on. As we get into the episode, Dottie receives a cup of tea prepared for her by none other than the tall man, who seems to have reappeared, interestingly enough, after transforming Beeveekee into Dottie of Not Your Normal Kids Show.
Welcome back, everyone. So glad to see you again. It's been so long. I thought you forgot about me. It's not nice to forget about your friends. Right, tall man? You're so funny, tall man. Oh my. Come with me, everyone.
Perhaps Tall Man and Dottie are not really that good of friends, because suddenly as he's coming at her face, he stops. Although I would say he didn't have any intentions of it. He can't move anymore, seemingly. I think that she has some kind of control over the tall man. I think that that's why he's transforming Beeveekee into this character. After having her cup of tea, Dottie shows us to a lovely little garden in which she's been clearly growing some pretty flowers.
I've been growing something special for a while now. I think it's close to blooming. It's so beautiful. Remember, always water your plants so they grow strong and healthy.
As she's showing off her gardening skills, we see something flash on screen. It turns out that this reads Unravel Reality. Also, if you pause just in time, you can see that the flowers have turned into a hand reaching out of the barrel as though something is buried in it. That's kind of where the episode ends.
Remember, always water your plants so they grow strong and healthy. Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for today. We always have such fun. You can always trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. I'll see you very soon. Bye now.
Kicking off with episode 6 of Not Your Normal Kids Show here. This one is captioned, "Do you remember your ABCs?" The intro glitches and almost looks like it's like a shot from The Ring or something like that before we see our main character, Dottie.
Today we have an extra special episode. We're going on a picnic. But before we go, we have to let Mother know. We can't leave without telling our parents, can we? Mother, I'm going to the woods for a picnic. Don't worry, I'll be back soon.
If you notice in the background on the chalkboard, it says ABCD equals 1, 2, 3, 4. When Dottie later tells Mother that she's heading out for her picnic, we can see a set of numbers above the door. If you look really closely, they're there. And the numbers are 1, 12, and 12. As she's packing for the picnic, we see another set of numbers. When she actually gets to the picnic spot, we see another set of numbers. And if we follow the code that was given to us on the chalkboard in the beginning of the episode, we receive the message, "All is reborn." Then, just as she's settling in for the picnic, Dottie says that sometimes in this area, you can see wildlife.
It's so beautiful out here. Sometimes you can even see wild animals in these woods. Remember, never interact with wildlife, as it can be dangerous. Oh, hi, tall man. Did you come to take me home? Great.
What looks like a shadowy figure of a demon can be seen crawling through the forest towards Dottie. And I've said this theory before, but I personally think that Dottie's eyes go white when she's experiencing genuine fear or when she's in danger in some capacity. I think it's really her only tell. She doesn't emote much with her face. She's just always smiling, of course. When Dottie sees Tall Man, she's not afraid anymore. Her eyes go back to normal and she asks if he's there to take her home. She looks back, the creature is gone, and Tall Man escorts her back to the house.
Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for going on this adventure with me. It's fun being with friends. I'll see you next time. Bye now.
You might already know this about me, but one of the things that scares me the most is Ring camera footage of creepy events that wouldn't normally have been captured. I think it's so incredible and interesting that technology has gotten to this place where we can record what's happening outside of our home or in it at any given point in time. It also has really led to a lot of paranormal footage I don't think we ever would have normally seen because people never would have captured the stuff otherwise. It also leads to a lot of crime being caught on camera. And then sometimes you have videos like this of events that could have been so much worse if the situation was slightly different. This video is from Boobiedoom, who says, "This footage right here literally is the reason I never want to leave my house again."
Me and my husband don't really get out much together, so we hired a babysitter and went out to dinner. And my phone had an alert, and this is what we saw on the doorbell. We called our babysitter and told her to go into the master bedroom and lock herself in the bathroom. Told her basically nothing's wrong, just a precaution. And we left a restaurant and came right home. But on the way home, of course, I'm watching this. God, I don't know what was said. The whole video recorded as white noise. But clearly she has something in her hands and it looks like a baby. And there's a storm outside. I don't know what her intentions were until we saw what she did at the end. But before that, she's just staring up into the sky. There was no rain. It was just thunder and lightning, constant. I had the babysitter on speakerphone on the way home while I'm watching this happen. We try to reassure her and let her know that the police are on their way. It won't be too long. What I saw next made my heart drop. The thing we can see her holding here that looks like a baby was a doll. She must have been using it as a prop to get into people's houses.
This whole thing was captured on a Nest doorbell camera. I think it's really, really, really creepy when the woman just walks right up to the camera and you can see the baby doll in her arms. Also, the lightning was a paid actor in this TikTok. Why was the lightning going off like perfectly the entire video? I scrolled through the account to see if I could find an update on this and realized I think that this was just like a story. I think it was just a creepy video for the sake of being creepy. I might totally be mistaken here, but the poster posts some other creepy stuff. Honestly, all of it gets under my skin, so very well done. But thought I'd throw that out there for anyone who might be worried that this person is out on the loose, just walking from door to door with a baby doll. Stuff like that really does happen though, so be safe out there. This video from Yo It's Maddie on TikTok is honestly so creepy. Maddie says that she and her friend Sydney both got phone calls from each other at the exact same time in the middle of the night, along with voicemails. And as you might be able to guess, neither of them called each other.
This morning I woke up to a text message from one of my friends asking me if I was good at 3:20 in the morning. And I was just like, I'm confused because I was asleep. I also had a missed call from her at that same time. So I was thinking maybe she was drinking or, you know, whatever. It was 3 in the morning. And she texted me, she got a missed call from me at the same time. We're in different time zones, so I'm 2 hours ahead of her. Right now I'm visiting family, whatever. And I was just confused because I was asleep. And she said it left a rumbly voicemail of 5 seconds. She was worried I was getting kidnapped. I'm like, huh? And this is her call from me. So 1:20 in the morning is 3:20 here, same time. And I also got a voicemail from her that was 5 seconds long. It's just a beep, and the transcription says hello. So we both got a call from each other at the same time, and we both got a voicemail from each other at the same time, but we never called each other. I was asleep. And has this ever happened? Like, what is going on?
This gives me chills. I've heard of crazy things happening with phone calls with loved ones before, but things like phone calls when somebody is already gone, you know what I mean, that don't make any sense, or voicemails that come after someone has passed. Like, these two girls are very much alive and well, and just got phone calls from each other along with the exact same voicemail in the middle of the night, which is really weird. I honestly have no explanation for that. Maybe somebody knows like a way that that can happen, or ways that I guess like a phone line could glitch like that, but I got nothing, and it really creeps me out, so I pray it never happens to me. Maddie and Sydney, you guys are strong as heck. If you don't know what the Porsche Arc is, a video went viral last month of a person saying that they keep getting text messages from unknown random numbers calling them Porsche. Text messages such as, "Porsche, is that you? Porsche?" The person shows multiple text messages that they get like this every single day. This one reads, "Porsche, dinner is ready," which this person is responding to these texts like, "Hey, I think you have the wrong number, like I'm not Porsche," to which whoever is always texting will be like, "Porsche, stop messing around, like just answer me, like talk to me." The person will say again, like, "I'm not Porsche," and whoever is texting them doesn't listen. "Porsche, please. Porsche, I swear to God, please come home. Porsche, is this you, sweetie?" At one point, the poster sends, "I am not Porsche, I am not Porsche, I am not Porsche, I am not Porsche," over and over and over again to one of these random numbers texting them, to which the number responds, "Porsche, please take your medication." And here at slide 15 out of 27 in this slideshow TikTok is where things take a turn for the creepy. Not Porsche gets a text message that simply says Porsche, along with a grinning face in the dark, which is super creepy for absolutely anyone. The poster even gets a call from a bank saying that they're looking for Porsche. Then somebody makes an account called I.see.you.Portia and starts following the original poster's account. "Porsche, I am not Porsche. Porsche, are these photos of you? Please stop haunting me. Porsche, come out. That TikTok went viral. It has almost 1.5 million likes at the time that I'm filming this. And everyone pretty much agreed from the start. It was either like somebody pulling a prank on this person, or it was some kind of spam thing, and you know, it had just gotten completely out of control with people believing that this was someone named Portia. But TikTok can never just let something rest. And so all these accounts started to pop up out of nowhere, usually titled something along the lines of I.see.you.Portia or something like that. And they start making these videos that are really freaking people out. This one is just all the photos that not Portia was sent over the course of their conversations with all of these unknown numbers. And it says, "Portia, you cannot run. I will be there very soon." And then from the same account, there's this one. Portia. And look, I know that when you're just listening to that, it obviously just sounds like a little kid whispering, "Portia." But I need you to understand that all of my followers have been tagging me in these videos and saying like, you need to figure out like this whole Portia thing. Like, what is this? Do you know what this is? And I search up like I.see.you.Portia because I'm trying to figure out what it is on TikTok. And the very first video that comes up is that whispering video, and it starts auto playing. So I just hear somebody go, "Portia," like as I'm researching this video. And it honestly, I almost jumped out of my skin. But our next TikTok account that we're gonna be looking into is something much weirder. I know we just talked about a TikTok slideshow for several minutes, but you know those cute little animal TikTok slideshows with like the little otters or the bunnies or the kitties? The TikTok account tinypawsparadise has been posting these cute little slideshows of kitties for a while now, and honestly, a lot of them have gone fairly viral. When the account started back in June of this year, I don't think anybody thought there was anything even remotely creepy about this account. It was just tiny little kitties, usually on very big couches or beds, and sometimes looking a little uncanny valley. Like sometimes the cats would look almost like they're AI generated, but I sort of think they were supposed to look like that. But then, and seemingly out of nowhere, the post took a really dark turn. Kittens were no longer frolicking through the sand or laying on their big couches. They were in abandoned buildings, and sometimes with creepy, unexplainable figures standing in the back behind them. But when October of this year rolled around, things got much weirder. I'm talking full-blown, full-body apparitions in the photos behind these cats. Some of the scariest ones I feel like I've ever seen in my life. These photos feel so uncanny valley, and whatever is in the background in any given photo is so creepy. Like creepy shadow figures and like ghosts and just faces staring at you in the dark. When October 1st hit, however, people started noticing something different in tinypawsparadise posts. Say that 5 times fast, holy cow. They realized that on slide 4 of every single post from the account, there was now a box instead of a kitten. A small cardboard box covered in what looked to be glowing sigils. Nobody really knew what was in the box or what it was meant to represent, but in every single post, slide 4 was not of a kitten, but of this box. And people are in the comments, they're like, well, what's in the box? Like, what's in the box? And the creator isn't saying anything, isn't giving anything up. On October 12th, an answer came. Instead of the usual simple box photo for slide 4, we also now got a message saying, "Do not open." Then on October 16th, we get another clue, this time in the form of a date that's written above the box in this slideshow, reading 31st of October, 2023. In the interim, the slideshows keep coming. The date is posted again, this time written on the walls in blood next to the box. And I really envy people who knew about this before Halloween, because I feel like the buildup had to be crazy. Also, these videos were going fairly viral online, so a lot of people were tuning in to this mystery. Then on Halloween, we get another post, of course. This time, the box has almost what looks like an alien or something in the background behind it. The box begins to levitate in the air, the lid comes off, and then the final photo is of a cat surrounded by pumpkins to say Happy Halloween, I suppose. The creator posts their very first video after this with the following caption. Hello everyone. For half a year, I've been delighting you with my cozy, warm, and mystical stories with kittens. Today, we can together uncover the mystery of this enigmatic box and find the next key in this creepy adventure. Perhaps a bit later, I'll publish this video on the channel, but now you have a cool opportunity to support me and be among the first to continue unraveling the eerie mystery guarded by the kittens. Thank you for your support, warm words, and cool conspiracy theories in the comments. Love you all. P.S. The rings know something. Basically, the video that's being talked about here is behind a paywall on TikTok. And out of respect for the creator, I'm not going to show you it, but I will give you a brief explanation of what this all led up to. Essentially, it's an animated scene of 5 kittens entering into a demonic pentagram and then a sigil along with the numbers 40-3. Obviously, no idea what that means, but hopefully it does mean that this account is doing something with this story. Because the idea of just having these cute little kittens with demonic, creepy figures behind them and stuff is so fun, so creepy. I love it so much. And I just had to show you some of these absolute nightmare fuel images. After an incredibly long period of inactivity, Lauren came back just in February of this year, 2023. She's having a conversation with her boyfriend when suddenly the front door slams shut.
I mean, like pizzas or maybe chicken nuggets, nothing crazy. Can you bring to your house? No. Can you bring your wrench?
Can you bring mine? Dude, my door just closed.
Is that the slam sound?
Yes. And it's locked.
Is the only one there?
Yes, nobody's here.
That's kind of scary. Where are the doors?
Luna! Luna's inside by herself. I don't even see her in there. Luna! 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 Luna!
So Lauren is locked out of the house, and she confirms in the comment section that she was home alone when this happened. She manages to get inside, but as soon as she does, the doorbell begins rapidly ringing again, and that's the end of the video. And the end of the story for now. TikTok user Alisha.syk posted a video about a bizarre paranormal experience she had after losing her grandmother. Her family has been watching the home, but specifically her mom has been the only person with keys to go in and out of her grandmother's house as they get together her things and, just clean up and do standard things that kind of happen when you lose a loved one. One morning, Alicia's mom comes back to the house to find that a gift bag that she put at the top of the stairs is suddenly waiting for her right by the door. So they look over the security footage and they saw something so weird.
So like I said, there's been no motion of a person detected in the house. It's literally just been my mum leaving, my mum coming back, but the ring camera records through the night or just constantly. So I'll show you the next clip. This video is not edited. Watch right here. Just gonna show it again. I just don't understand how a bag can just appear literally out of thin air. Even if the ring camera is recording in frames, not continuously recording, how did that bag just appear? And if it fell down the stairs somehow, or how is it landing up the way? So if anyone has any explanation, please let me know, because we are also confused and have no idea how it even got there.
Alisha literally shows here, it kind of just appears at one point. Alicia's mom knew she left that bag upstairs, and Alisha shows the footage where it just appears at the bottom of the stairs out of nowhere. No movement captured, no nothing. It's just suddenly there. If the bag had just fallen down the stairs and was laying on the ground and all the contents were everywhere, I would understand that. but it's sitting perfectly upright. And there's no footage of it moving except when it wasn't in the frame in one clip and then it was. Then we have a video from All Spooky Horror. Now this is a repost of this, but the original poster found himself in a graveyard. I'm not exactly sure of why the poster has found himself in a graveyard, but there's a very seriously damaged white car in this graveyard that looks like it was like freshly in an accident. The front of this car is really damaged and the poster hears a woman crying next to it. So of course the poster goes over to the car to see like what's going on. And that's when this happens.
You okay? What the? What the f is going on here? There ain't nobody there. Miss? Hello?
When the man gets to the car, there's no one in or around it, and the crying sounds immediately stop. This cemetery is empty save for the person filming, and like there's nowhere somebody could have run to. Like this is a wide open space. Again, it's a cemetery. If somebody was around, you would see them. And there was somebody crying in front of that car who just disappeared. Lastly is a TikTok from user opalghosts, who was just filming a video of their roommate late one night as they were having some drinks. Their roommate suddenly freaked out on them and the poster didn't really know why until they watched back the video.
What? 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 What are you doing? Did you not hear that? No. Are you sure? I can hear that. Sinji.
You can see the closet start to shake, and the girl who was dancing next to it gets incredibly freaked out, and even the dog goes to investigate. But apparently, there was nothing there. The video comes from ruthielovescoffee, and in it, the poster describes a strange situation that she's experiencing with one of her favorite coffee mugs.
Okay, so I've just moved, and here's the question. You know how when you move, sometimes you pack something in a box, and then you go to unpack that box, and even though you distinctly remember like wrapping it up and putting it in that box, it's just not there, and then you like never find it, it just vanished in the move? Okay, I'm having the opposite problem, and I feel like I'm losing my mind. So when I lived in Florida, I had this mug from Steven Universe, and I got it in a merchandise grab bag. I've never seen one exactly like this for sale, like on its own. This is the only one I had. But then when we moved from Florida to Tennessee and I unpacked two of them, I have two of them. I don't know where this one came from. I was so confused by this. I even texted my sister like, hey, did you have a mug and I stole yours? And she's like, I don't know where that came from. And then I decided, well, maybe I bought a second one and forgot about it, which does not sound like at all like me, but that is the most logical explanation. So sure. But this one I can't explain. So when we lived in Tennessee, I needed a dish for rings. I bought this cute little turtle. I got it at an antique mall. When I bought it, I distinctly remember I found it on a shelf and I was walking through the antique mall holding this turtle in one hand and a little ceramic Scotty dog in the other hand. So tell me why when I was unpacking just now, I have two of them. I have two of them. And if you look, they even have sticker residue in exactly the same place. I tried to clean the sticker residue off this one and that was the best I could do. And I swear to you, it looked pretty much exactly like this before that. And this one also, if you look, it's a little bit dirty on its head and legs. This is like exactly how this one looked when I first bought it, like before I cleaned it up and put it on the shelf. So what is happening? Am I the receiving universe? Is there like a parallel universe version of me who's unpacking boxes right now and going, I wonder what happened to my Steven Universe mug and my turtle dish? Like, what is happening?
So not only has her Steven Universe mug, which she says herself she got in like a blind box, like she doesn't really know how another one just like found its way into her home. Not only has that duplicated, now an antique trinket dish that she has, like something that she bought at an antique mall, has duplicated and looks exactly like hers did before she cleaned it up. There just might be a parallel universe where, like she said, she's losing things only to find them in her current reality. Next up, we have a TikTok from Sethofsevenyearwitch. Seth has never exactly had any paranormal experiences before, but ever since he picked up this old guitar at a yard sale, strange things have been happening.
I've never had an issue with ghosts or any weird, unexplainable stuff in my house, but I bought a guitar the other week at a garage sale from this old lady down the street, and every time I pick it up or strum it or play it, really weird shit happens, and I'll show you. That is some Lotus, like, very 80s looking guitar, and every time I strum, like that, shit like that happens every time I mess with this thing. Shit like that.
I love this video. Maybe it's like the former owner just kind of rocking out with him. Like, yeah, you play that guitar. Then we have a really viral video that comes from Jalen_Rich. It's captioned that one time my best friend and I saw a ghost on the double shot at the Santa Cruz boardwalk. We were there after hours and the ride suddenly started going. Watch closely.
Okay, but the boardwalk closed like half an hour ago. Okay, I'm really bad at this. No one's on there. Is there? Okay, I totally saw someone on the camera, but I didn't see them.
Like, that looks like a person, right? You can see somebody sitting there as the ride goes down. But then it gets to a certain point and it's literally like they vanish into thin air. Maybe the ghost is just really enjoying his trip to the boardwalk and the afterlife, which is all well and good, but actually, why was the ride still going? Like, after the place was clearly closed, why was the ride still moving? Could be haunted, could be spooky, could be someone who forgot to turn it off. I don't really know. Another video from Haunted TikToker. I got tagged in a ton of these, and again, unsure of the original source. It's Ring camera footage of these two kids in the kitchen saying back and forth, "I ain't scared of no ghosts," until suddenly a ghost turns up and their tune completely changes. These poor kids are bawling. They're so freaked out. I feel so bad for them. But honestly, if I was that ghost, I would have taught them the same lesson. Like, yes, small children do have a healthy respect of the paranormal. I'm sure that their parents ended up seeing this and got such a kick out of it that they published it somewhere, and that's how it ended up on this TikTok account. I feel like so many of us are fascinated by the idea of lost media. The idea that in our day and age of 2023, we can just lose entire films, TV show episodes, and more. It's bizarre in a world where everything is so well documented. But I kept getting tagged in a lot of posts about this lost movie from the 80s called Zapotha. This video from Monday Hates You Too breaks it down pretty well.
So if you're on TikTok, you may have heard about the 80s horror film Zapotha. It's basically an 80s indie horror film that was made in 1984. And this movie didn't really gain a lot of traction back then because it wasn't released into like any theaters or like film festivals or anything. And the movie itself wasn't even put on any streaming platforms until like late 2019. And it follows the stories of multiple people within the town of Zapotha, Illinois. I can't talk about every single character in one video, but I will be talking about Elaine and her backstory and whatnot. Spoilers ahead, so be aware. So Elaine is an 18-year-old girl, and since she was 8, she started having these reoccurring dreams once a week in which she dreams an entire week into the future. And the twist is everything in these dreams somehow seems to come true. And Elaine didn't really put 2 and 2 together until she was around 10, in which she had another one of her dreams, in which a hooded figure was going on this massacre, kidnapping, killing a bunch of people, and one of these people happened to be her mother. And it just so happens that the next week, her mother, along with 9 other people, go missing. And because of her dream, Elaine was actually the one to find the bodies of her mom and these 9 other people. And since then, Elaine blames herself for what happened, as she believes that she could have prevented it in some way, and has now devoted her life to finding whoever murdered all these people and her mom, and bringing this person to justice.
So that whole thing sounds fascinating, right? Like, how was something like this lost to time, and where is it now? Well, the whole thing can be traced back to TikTok user Emilyjeffri. She posted the following video to a song of hers that was coming out later this fall, saying, okay, a new bit idea. What if we created a fake 80s horror movie called Zapotha and started commenting, oh my god, you look exactly like that one girl from Zapotha on every thirst trap we see. Together we will witness new lore develop, main characters will emerge, and we can convince thousands of people that this weirdly titled 80s horror film actually exists. So the whole thing, Zapotha, which has gone incredibly viral by the way, was actually just a made up kind of marketing tactic for this girl's new music. But there's nothing the internet loves more than a bit, and now they have created all of these characters around Zapotha, so much lore, so much story, and I just keep seeing posts about this made-up movie left and right. There is nothing TikTok loves more than a bit, more than an inside joke that the rest of the internet won't understand for 6 months. One of the internet's favorite videos, however, was this one that was posted somewhat recently.
Leave. Stop. You gotta go. Shh, 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 shh. Calm down. What are you? Stop. I don't even know how to explain what I'm seeing. Holy hell. No, this is crazy. Did you hear this last night? Oh, yeah. It was going last night. Now, did you... Charlie, come here.
Alana Jo says that this glitch of the Matrix is like 30-something years in the making. And it all started with a boy named Steve.
I start preschool when I'm 3 years old. I go to preschool, there's this boy in my class named Steve. We're in the same class in kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd grade, but something happens in 2nd grade, okay? In 2nd grade, my family moved from New York to Michigan. We moved away. I was a new kid in 2nd grade. I start my new class. A couple months later in my new 2nd grade class in a new state, my teacher says, hey kids, we're getting a new kid. Steve comes walking in. I'm like, weird, Steve. Did your family move here too? He's like, yep, sure did. Weird. So in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, we're in the same class. In 5th grade, my parents switched houses in the same town that we lived in, but it was a big city, so we had to switch schools again. Thanks for that, Mom and Dad. So I'm a new kid, right, in 5th grade, starting on the first day, and my teacher's like, hey, there's another kid who also went to your old school. He's in the other class. Guess who it is? It's Steve.
Alana Jo spent a lot of her young life kind of moving all over the place, different schools, different states, different cities. And somehow, no matter where she went, another child the same age as her followed her everywhere.
We moved back to New York, to a different town than we originally lived in. So it's like November, I moved there. In May of that year, our teacher's like, hey, we have a new kid shadowing. He's also from Michigan, where you just came from. Guess who it is? It's freaking Steve. It's Steve again. We go off to college. In 2004, I'm studying abroad my junior year in Madrid. It was 2004, so the Yankees and the Red Sox World Series thing was happening. There was a sports bar in Madrid that aired all of the games for Americans. I had my bucket of Corona in front of me because, of course, Americans. And in walks Steve to this bar. Steve came into this bar to also watch the Yankees and the Red Sox. He wasn't studying abroad in Madrid. He was studying abroad in London, right? Weird. He ended up at the same bar. In December of that same year, my friends and I who were studying in Madrid decided to go to Prague to see it. To see Prague at Christmas time. We're supposed to go on a pub crawl. We missed that pub crawl. We decide to go on our own pub crawl. We end up in a random Irish pub in the middle of Prague. Who's there? Who's there sitting at a table? Steve. Steve's sitting at a table. He also went to Prague at Christmas time, and we happen to be at the same bar at the same time. Now this morning I'm in the copy room at work. I have a coworker who's talking about her fiance. I'm not friends with this girl. I barely know this girl. She mentions, oh, my fiance Steve. And I go, excuse me, what's your fiance's last name? I felt like Brad Pitt with the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's his last name? Guess who it is? Guess who it is? It's Steve. It's the same Steve. What does it mean?
Okay, so that's pretty creepy, right? Everyone is like, you're like meant to be together, like you're soulmates, or he's stalking you. Like people were very either, this is the universe, or there is something very sinister happening here. There was no in between. Alana makes many follow-ups to this, and I think the most prominent question that kept getting asked was, how does he feel about this? Like, have you guys talked about it? Have either of you acknowledged the fact that you keep running into each other decade after decade after decade? She says that yes, he has acknowledged this. They both have like talked about how weird it is, but she actually posted this video having a conversation with Steve in which he told her about one run-in he had with her that she didn't even know about.
This portion blew my mind. It reads, "Seeing your original video was pretty entertaining. I've told that story various times and am usually met with a healthy dose of skepticism. Here's an element that either never made it to you or you forgot to add in. Just before the pandemic, I was traveling through New York City and had a layover in JFK, which I spent in the Delta Lounge. While I was in there, I bumped into, there's a name written here, she was a mutual classmate, a friend of mine, and she shared that you had just left for your gate 20 minutes before I arrived. I thought about seeking you out at the gate to add to the list of chance encounters, but decided against it because I trust that had the universe wanted us to meet that day, we would have."
The next few videos I have to share with you all are from Tanner J. Shelton. Can't believe I've not only never talked about this, but really just never even heard of it, because these TikToks were posted in 2019. And really have just started kind of taking a viral turn. The first video kicks off with Tanner saying that he is babysitting late one night when he notices something on the baby monitor.
So I'm babysitting, right? And it's 10:30 at night now. I've already put the kids in bed and I hear laughing. I started to get a little mad because this was the third time I told them they needed to be in bed since they have school in the morning. The thing is, the noises were coming from the baby's room. I thought maybe they woke up to check on their sister. So then I decided to check the baby monitor. Please tell me what's in the top left corner.
Then we have another video from PG Stories Official, this time of a young child who is telling her mom all about her previous life as a pirate.
I wish I could be a pirate again.
You do?
Yeah.
When were you a pirate?
I was a long time ago when you weren't alive, and then I shrunk into a little kid. And I never could be a pirate again.
Now, kids have big imaginations, and I know that, but this story supposedly takes place before this child's mother is ever even alive. And with this child's story in particular, it was so specific, all of the things that she told her mom. And yes, while she could absolutely just be pretending that she was once a pirate, it really seems like she believes it. I so seriously believe every single past life story that a kid ends up telling. I feel like you hear the most interesting life stories from children who know details about stuff that they absolutely should not. And it's the most eerie and unsettling and magical feeling, I think, for adults who, I guess, like, reasonably we should know better. Like, we should know that these kids just maybe picked up the information that they're telling us somewhere else and they have an active imagination, but it's still always weirds me out, and I always end up believing the kids who tell these stories. So I kind of went on a bit of a hunt to see if I could find any other past life stories. One of my favorite stories about like past lives that I found on TikTok comes from Melanie Sergel0, who is the mother of her young son. And one day, as Melanie is talking to her son, and for a bit of preface here, Melanie's father passed away. Her son tells Melanie something fascinating about a grandfather who he never met.
What did you just say about my daddy?
I said daddy.
What?
I said daddy.
You were my daddy?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, your daddy turned into a kid. So, he didn't die.
He didn't die?
Nope.
Oh, he turned into Oliver?
And I thought this was the sweetest video for a myriad of reasons. Of course, I blurred this child's face in this video, but the way he looks at his mom with so much love and adoration in the original video is just so freaking sweet. But also, he's so sure that he is her dad. Like, Don't be silly. Your dad's right here. I'm just your kid now. And honestly, it was really touching and really, really, really sweet. And just what a fascinating moment. This kid gets his point across that his mama doesn't need to be sad because he is right there. And I think no matter what, that's the sweetest thing ever. There you all have it, the 100 scariest TikToks of 2023. We watched a lot of spooky videos together this year and I loved every single moment of it, but these were just some of my favorites. Let me know which of these videos freaked you out the most down below. Thank you all so much for watching and sticking through till the end. A special thank you to my subscribers who are members of the channel. If you want to join the channel memberships and get extra members exclusive content like members only videos, polls to help me decide on future video topics, and so much more, you can click that little join button somewhere around the screen. We would love to have you. An extra special thank you to my VIP loves for their generous and continued support of the channel. I love and appreciate you all very, very much. I love you all very much and I will see you in my next video. Bye.